Hey folks, welcome back. Anyway, I wanted to come to you today with a concern that I have for estates and probate. And one of those concerns in estate and probate is real estate brokers who rush in claiming to be probate experts. And basically, what they tell the executor is that they need to clean out everything inside of the real estate so they could just sell the real estate. And nine times out of 10, that's really a bad idea. And I'm going to go down a couple of reasons why that's a bad idea. So let's get started. So the first thing is that whenever somebody's managing an estate, no matter if you're an executor or administrator or for the attorneys, they might be called a commissioner. It's important to realize that when somebody passes away, with a will or without a will, uh, or if somebody's downsizing so they can go into a specific, genre of homes or apartments or downsizing into new homes, it's crucial to handle the personal property with just as much care and consideration as you would the real estate. And one of the key decisions that a person can make is whether or not they want to sell it, or if they want to throw it away, or if they want to donate it. And I can tell you that each item has specific marketable value. Now, I'm going to tell you that electronics such as this is a Kodak 12 megapixel camera. This probably has a market value of about $5. And the reason why it's about $5 is because at one point in time, this was the hottest thing since sliced bread. However, because of Moore's law, you take Moore's law and you over 18 months, it literally goes to either zero or less than zero, or it depreciates to about $5, $6 until it gets to that stage. And the thing about it is that a lot of people don't think that what they bought in their house is worth a lot of money. And I have seen things that have been outstandingly uh, worth a lot of money. Some of your antiques, some of your pottery, coins, stamps, some stamps, not all stamps, and they even have coin and stamp books. However, the coin and stamp books are of a how should I say, an era in which people would pay for X at a retail particular store. However, what don't we see so much anymore in our communities? Coin and stamp places. Uh, Nor do we see appliance repair, nor do we see electronics repair. So you have to understand that a lot of those things like or not dollar, but Lincoln wheatback pennies from 1943. A lot of people think that they're worth 50 cents, 60 cents, $10,000, but they're really just worth the face value. A lot of your silver coins are worth more than your steel cents. So it's important to understand that the marketability is going to drive those factors. And it doesn't matter if it's, your Yamaguchis or your collections or anything else like that. Each one has a particular marketable value. And we in the industry, I'm an auctioneer and an estate tag sale specialist, um, understand what that marketable trade is because we're in that profession. So, well, let's think about it. Selling the personal property, other than throwing it away, can be significant to the estate. And what I mean by significant is that there's plenty of money that's inside the estate that could be used later on for uh, fees, uh, paying down some of the debt. In some cases, if you have enough personal property, you could easily pay off a Medicaid lien against the real estate. So you have that variety of options for you that pay off a lot of this stuff. However, if you just throw it away, then that's all money that has to come out of the real estate. And a lot of people are thinking about that short term of, if we just dump everything out of the house, then we can go ahead and turn around and pay for everything from the proceeds of the real estate. That's not really being a good fiduciary or a good trusted member or an executor or an administrator or a commissioner. And the reason is because you're dumping money that could have been used for certain aspects of it. So uh, selling it, selling the personal property can be one of the best things for the estate because it's financial. And not only is it financial, but it's also logistical. And the reason why I say it's financial and logisticals is because you'll get a financial gain either way. And the financial gain is it covers the estate, some of the estate costs, easily can cover some of the estate costs. And if you have one of those collections that um, is in demand today, and I'm not talking about Furbies or Beanie Babies or any of those cars from the Franklin Mint or any of those other collections, because if it's more collectible, chances are it's not. What I mean by that is a collection of depressionary glass, collections of silver, precious metals, and things like that can very easily cover the cost of the estate. Um, and that you can literally sell anything at all to cover those costs and generate those funds that can cover them costs. And it can even be used to cover the legal fees, taxes. Believe it or not, you still are on the hook for property taxes in a traditional estate. Maintenance costs, such as keeping the electrical on, the air conditioning running, keeping the property in good condition while it's on the market. Those costs can add up real quick. And if you sell the personal property, that money can go to pay those costs. And outstanding debts. Sometimes people think, oh my goodness, this, how should I say, uh, this costs so much money. Or you might have a Medicaid lien and then you have unsecured credit cards. Well, if you have unsecured credit cards, chances are it's better for you to pay the debt going to the Medicaid lien than it is to pay the unsecured credit card. Now, if it's a secured credit card, that's a different story. So anyway, um, a lot of the creditors, such as your loans and whatnot, have to be paid before the estate can be fully settled, and that includes, you know, any, like I said, liens like on tractors or anything like that. So some of the valuable items that you can sell are some are like antiques. However, don't expect antiques to go for mint. Expect antiques to go for uh, not even a pretty penny, but they will sell because they're somewhat still marketable. However, the antiques market is suppressed because there's only certain people who are purchasing them. Collectibles, it depends on the collectible. I can show you baseball cards that go all the way back to the 1960s, and some of them are collectible. And anything as soon as you hit 1980, this to today, are absolutely not collectible. But I will still market them because there's somebody who will always buy a printer paper full of collectible baseball or of those baseball cards. Why? Who knows? But the ones in the 60s that everybody put in their spokes in their bicycle, those were the ones that were worth money. The ones that were in baseball card bubblegum wrappers, they were worth money. And if they still smell like bubblegum, they're even worth more money. However, nowadays, you have people who will just collect everything. Like if on the Celtics, the Celtics won And then everybody runs out and buys their collectible hat and their collectible jersey and their collectible this and their collectible that. All of that is junk. So you will see a whole bunch of it flood eBay because it's an event that, you know, everybody all over the world will want a Celtics jersey. Well, no. Uh, Everyday household goods, some of your earlier blenders, some of your vintage hand mixers, some of your vintage can openers, those kind of things. They can provide necessary funds to cover those extra expenses by dipping into the estate's other assets. If you happen to have some of the older uh, mixers and whatnot that are that ugly almond gray, or not gray, but green, it's subjective. It really is subjective. But a lot of people love the older Kitchenaire, those kind of things. So one of the things that you, as an executor, administrator, or a commissioner, wants to do is you want to ensure that the you understand maximizing the estate, the value to the estate, both real estate and the personal property. So many personal items have an inherent value that may not be immediately apparent. Some of you will say, well, that's grandma's yellow pie plate. And there was actually a series on grandma's yellow pie plate and how all, the market value for grandma's yellow pie plate is $10. However, the family will say that it's worth $30,000, $40,000. So you have to have a little bit more reasonality to it. That's why we have to bring in a professional appraisers. I've sold enough things where I know how much they're worth. And I tell people right off the bat, they're like, I got a 10,000 baseball card collection. How much do you think it would get? Well, what was the year? If it's above 1980, a 30,000 set baseball card will probably bring, $50, maybe. But if it was before 1960 and you have some of the earlier ones like Mickey Mantle or Jim Palmer or some of the earlier the baseball card heroes, then you could easily have more than $1,000 to $2,000. And if they're all mint, then you can have more than that. Professional appraisers or estate sale companies such as ours can identify and price the items appropriately. Now, I'm not going to say that we price everything because there are just some things that we know the value because we have sold so many of them. But there are some times when we have to take a look at uh, things that we've never seen, and we have to actually do some research on those. And that's when it gets a little bit dicey as to what the price, because it might be that there is an old 1950s hot dog steamer and hot dog cooker that you probably would only pay about $10 for at a yard sale, but when we go to auction it actually brings in $3,500. Yeah, most people don't think about that. The reason why we want to ensure that we have it priced right is because it ensures that the estate maximizes the value that's going to be getting out of those assets. And anything that we do is going to benefit all the beneficiaries. And if it benefits the beneficiaries to the point where it pays the legal bill, well, then it benefits the attorney. If it pays our bill, then it's going to benefit us too. But if we can have that personal property be levied to pay those bills, then we would be in a much better pole position. So let's go over some of the practical benefits of what I just went over. One is you want to reduce the waste. So if you can sell anything outside of the estate to people who actually are going to cherish it and use it moving forward, then not throwing it away reduces the amount of environmental waste that goes into the landfills. By donating, selling, or recycling personal property anytime, the estate can reduce its environmental footprint. A lot of people think that reducing somebody's carbon footprint is important. Well, it's not carbon footprints that people should be worried about. It's the environmental aspect of it. A lot of the paper and whatnot that is used in any of this could be used to be recycled to make more paper versus cutting down new trees to do so. So you have to understand that the glass can be recycled to new glass, plastics can be recycled to new plastics. Um, and you could go right down through the entire thing. So you can reduce the estate's environmental footprint by smart recycling goods and services and electronics. The approach aligns with sustainable practices, and we try to be a sustainable practice all the time. Our auction company, we turn around and resell those items to people who actually want them and use them, or if it's broken, then they turn around and they will make it so uh, it's not going in there, but it's actually being reused. So the energy to produce it's already been done. Now we're just using a little bit of energy in order to make it work again. And it makes it a reasonable methodology to impact the community. And we also want to resonate positively with the family members, and we want to resonate positively with the community by doing the reducing that kind of waste. We also want to simplify the sale at the house, and this is for estate tag sales. In some cases, you may have people who are still living at the property. So there's two ways of looking at it. One is we could do an estate tag sale there. However, the individuals who are living there are going to have to move out. And the reason is because it will get to the point where um, you will have people who are coming in here, and by the time we get done, that house is empty from wall to wall. So it's like, well, we want to save this, we want to save that. It is empty wall to wall. So yeah, there are some things that the family want to keep. We tell them to put them into one specific room, and that's where that's where that stuff is. Now, on the flip side of it, you will also have an online estate sale. We won't sell it wall to wall in that particular case, but we will have people show up and say, hey, how much for this, how much for that? And it gives us an opportunity to make extra money for the estate by turning around and asking the owner if they're willing to part with it for X amount of dollars. But an empty house is easier to sell all the time, every day, all day. I can tell you 100% of the time. But getting to that point requires careful management of personal property. We can't have personal property just strewn all over the place and labeled and price tagged and whatnot. Selling the item removes them from the house, but trying to get them staged for the house is something it's quite difficult to do. The house, we can sell the items inside the house in a systematic way, which prevents the accumulation of trash and unnecessary disposal costs. And in some cases, people will bring additional trash bags, or they'll bring additional bags, and they know if they buy something that they got to take it out right then and there. And if it's a dresser that they take and it's filled, and it's stuff that that we've gone through, and it's not anything that people would. It's not worth us pricing. Then they'll take the dresser and then they'll throw away the extra trash or whatever's in there, because if it's not theirs, or it's not usable, then they won't use it. Additionally, a clean and staged house is often more appealing to potential buyers, so potentially leading to a quicker sale at a much better price. Um, One of the things I've always said is it's easier for me to get more money from a house that's empty than more money from a house that's currently being lived in. Because not only do I have to ask them to be inconvenienced by going to the movies for 2 or 3 hours, But now I also have to have people who are buyers who show up and go through the house and do what the seller says that they need in order to keep things down to a dull roar. Because it's a huge inconvenience for them to sell the house and have to be run out uh, in order for us to show the house and then run back in. In some cases, if they have children or pets or dogs or cats that could be affected, it's a little bit more difficult. So we want to respect the memories and the sentiments whenever we go into those particular homes too. Personal belongings often holds a sentimental value, and those items, rather than discarding them, can feel more respectful to the memories and significance that they carry to the individual who's actually moving forward. Sometimes family members will take them, sometimes friends will take them, and it's the opportunity to keep them, or like a big box of uh, photos. They can scan them, and then it's their opportunity to purchase those keepsakes as well from the family if they so desire. And it benefits others as well. Selling the items gives them a second life, and benefits new owners who may cherish and find a good use for them. This can be especially meaningful when the items are donated or sold to charitable organizations, furthering contributing to a positive legacy. A lot of people don't think that people who buy stuff, they do so just to buy it and then they're just going to take out the picture and then throw the old picture away. Sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes they'll put their picture over top of the new picture just in case, because they know that that's a memory that should be shared. Anyway, that is the reason why it's important not to clean out a house. And then in our next segment, we're going to go down through the practical steps of selling personal property right here on this channel. I am Matt Price. I am your auctioneer and your real estate broker. You can give me a call, 919-614-6288, or you can send me an email through my email address, matt.price@ebb, Echo Baker Baker, ids.com. And I will be happy to answer any of your questions. Or you can visit blackriverpa.com. That is my downsizing site. Probate.blackriverpa.com is my probate site, and ebbids.com is my actual bidding site where you can bid on some of these things. I will see you in the next one. Have a good one.